Welcome to the Courage to Live podcast. My name is Josh Bitsko. I'm a retired police captain with 24 years of experience out of Las Vegas. Currently, I travel the country and I teach people about courage, resilience, and leadership. Today, I'm going to talk about how I managed making mistakes. And I would love to say that I always handled it really well or that I never made mistakes, but in life, in business, we're all humans. We're going to make a mistake. One of my biggest mistakes that I made was on the 1 October shooting. So when we went up to the suspect's room, and there's other podcasts that you can listen to where I tell the whole story, I left my canine partner, Loki, in the truck. And I remember the other canine officer that was with me is like, "Hey, do you want to grab a dog?" And I remember telling him, "No, we're going to kill this guy. We're not going to bite him." I didn't really see the problem for what it was. We do active shooter training, and generally that training is somebody going through a school or a mall, randomly shooting people, and we have to then go and, address the threat. And when you do that and you're in crowds, having a police dog that is excitable and just going to bite whoever comes close can be a liability, not a benefit. So when I was responding to this, I had that same mindset in my training, and through the fog of war, through the stress that I was feeling, I didn't see the problem for what it was. It was somebody barricaded in a room that we were going to have to then go into that room and search for him. And that was a really big mistake that I made, because when we breached the door, I had the thought, man, I wish I had my dog with me. I would have sent him, I'd have been right behind him, but he would have just been such a valuable tool in that moment. And initially, it really bothered me. And I remember, like, why did I make that mistake? Why did I not have that tool? I was lucky that the suspect had already taken their own life. So there wasn't there wasn't a threat. We didn't meet gunfire when we went into the room. But if that happened, I would have a hard time living with myself because of that mistake. And, I remember initially I was really hard on myself over it. It took me years to realize that, there is a silver lining in all mistakes, and we can learn from, the things that we've done wrong in our life and in our career. And for me, it was having the understanding that, yes, I made the mistake. I made the wrong decision in that moment, but also how I was training for situations instead of the stress, and making decisions under stress set me up to not make the right decision in that moment. And I'm not saying that to, you know, make excuses for something I did wrong, because I still feel that I made that mistake. But really, it gave me a new perspective for now. When I go around and I teach, I talk about that and 100 other mistakes that I've made on that event and others. And, knowing that I can now help others understand that, they can train a little different to clear up that mental space under stress so they can make better decisions. But yeah, in this thing that's been repeated time and time in my life, whether it's for the business, Bitsko Consulting, where I go around training or speaking, keynote speaking. Sometimes I'll leave something out, or I'll forget to post something online or send the right email or forget to respond to an email. And, I can dwell on those mistakes and, say, okay, well, we lost out on a contract because I forgot to respond to an email. Or I can set up processes to make sure I don't make the same mistake twice. And that's really, it's less about the mistake and more about not making the same mistake multiple times. So no, I'll never be in front of another door. Well, shouldn't ever say never, but I most likely will never be in front of another door of an active shooter. I mean, I'm retired now. It's less about that specific scenario and more about having the right mindset under stress to make a better decision and clear out that fog of war. So mistakes are opportunities to either change processes, to grow, and it's not just in policing. Like I said, as a small business owner, now I have to make sure that we have processes set in place, and Jenna helps me out a lot. If not, she manages the processes so we don't, make mistakes, and she is much more organized than I am. But again, those mistakes are opportunities to be better, opportunities to learn, because nobody's perfect. So I know this was a short one. Thank you for listening today. And if you liked what you heard on the podcast, please, share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave a review. So thank you for spending time today.